Seekers, I'm Nick. It's time for us to check out one of the most requested B550 boards to date, the one that the comment section has been asking us to do repeatedly. We finally got our hands on one. It's the B550 Taichi from ASRock. Just remember, ladies and gents, these overview videos are not reviews. So let's roll that intro. Let's do it. Alright, ladies and gents, like I just mentioned, these motherboard videos are not reviews. They're just overviews so you can get an idea of what comes in the box of the brand new motherboard and the feature set with these brand new B550 motherboards. We don't know anything about pricing, or we personally have no idea about pricing or anything. There's obviously going to be leaks and all that stuff on the internet, but that's not what this video is about. We're talking about all the stuff in the box and what feature set this board's got. So let's check it out. Alright, ladies and gents, it's time to check out the B550 Taichi from ASRock. This is one of the most requested boards that we've had so far for us to check out with B550, so we're going to do just that. But first, we're going to get the motherboard out of the way so we can take a bit of a closer look at what's in the box with the B550 Taichi. Alrighty, what do we got here? I think it's time to do a deflapping. Let's open that left flap and see what we got. First up, we've got a bunch of M.2 screws and standoffs for the motherboard so you can mount the drives. Now, this has one PCIe Gen 4 M.2 slot and a PCIe Gen 3 M.2 slot as well. There's also this shark fin antenna for the built-in Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi AX. Very nice design and a very nice inclusion for this board. There's also two SATA or SATA cables for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your spinning RUS drives. All pretty standard stuff for these B550 boards that we've seen so far. And there's a little screwdriver. Now, this is a Torx screwdriver. This has been included with all of the Taichi boards from the X570 Taichi and later. Basically, it's to pull the heatsinks off for the M.2 drives. All right, let's take a look at flap number 2 on the right-hand side, and there's this kind of envelope with beautiful branding on it. Let's open it up and see what we've got. Ooh, it's a bunch of these stickers that people either really love or really hate. Except the difference here is these ASRock stickers are telling us to do something, or rather, they're telling us to not do something, and that is do not disturb. I'm guessing that's a gaming thing, I guess, right? No? Okay, boomer, right? Anyway, let's check out this postcard. Now, I've joked about sending these to viewers for years. I'm not going to do it. I think this is probably the same postcard they've used for the past 3 years. There's also these Velcro straps for cable management. I love that motherboard vendors are now including these in the box. They're a nice little addition when you're building a brand new PC. There's also this circular round device, and I don't care what anyone says, please give us USB sticks with drivers. No one uses these. Those 1 or 2 people that say they do are lying. They don't. Anyway, here's the software setup guide. Now, this is a great little bit of documentation. It basically tells you what everything in the BIOS and where everything is, and that's really handy if you're building for the first time. And speaking of building for the first time, this is the quick installation guide. Although it doesn't really look that quick to me. It looks like a Harry Potter novel. The truth is, it's in a lot of different languages. It's not actually that thick. But yeah, this is a nice addition if you're a first-time builder. All right, enough talking about that stuff. Let's get this motherboard out so we can take a closer look. Look at it already. It's in typical Taichi fashion. Completely overkill and completely cool looking. So let's take a bit of a closer look. Here we go, ladies and gents. There's a front panel audio connector, pretty standard stuff here. There's a 5-volt addressable RGB header next to that. There's a 12-volt 4-pin RGB header. There's 2 PWM fan connectors. There's 2 USB 2.0 headers a little bit further up as well. There's a post LED screen, so this basically lets you know if there's any errors when you're booting your system. There's a reset button and a power button. There's a front panel connector for your lights and switches and all the stuff to turn on your PC, and a clear CMOS button. There's 8 SATA or SATA ports for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your spinning RUS drives. That's a lot for a B550 board. There's also a right angle USB 3.2 header, a PWM fan connector, a USB Type-C connector, which is a lot of you guys have been complaining that other boards haven't had this. There's another USB 3.2 header and a 24-pin power connector to send all of the juice to your brand new B550 Taichi. And along the top, we've got another 5V addressable RGB header, a 12V RGB header, a PWM fan connector for the CPU pump, and one for the CPU fans. There's also a really chunky heatsink that you're seeing here, and that helps cool the 16-phase VRM setup that this motherboard's got, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. There's also two 8-pin EPS power connectors to send all of that juice to, yes, a 3950X if you wanted to use it with this board. There's also 3 by 16 size PCIe slots. The top one is a by 16, the middle one is a by 8, and the bottom one is a by 4, and there's also 2 by 1 slots as well. And because this is B550, this board does not have an actively cooled chipset. It just doesn't need it. I know there's some ITX boards that are coming with actively cooled chipsets, but with these full-size ATX boards, they just don't need it to be like that. And look at that design. Classic ASRock Taichi. I love it. Okay, now speaking of VRMs, like we touched on a little bit earlier, it's got a 16-phase VRM setup with 50 amp power stages. This is a completely overkill VRM setup for a, I'm going to say this, it's a budget focus board. I know people are going to disagree, but that's what B550 is really aimed at. But this is, again, a high-end B550 board, like the B550 Aorus Master. And again, because this is B550, it's got a standard AM4 socket. However, it only supports Ryzen 3000 CPUs and above. It doesn't support any 2000 or 1000 CPUs, and it does not support the 3200G or the 3400G APUs. However, I suspect it will support later APUs down the line. There's also 4 DDR4 RAM slots, which support a total of 128 gigs of RAM and an overclocked RAM speed of 3733 megahertz. And if you flip the board over, you'll notice it's got a semi-full cover backplate and also the backplate for the CPU socket cooler. And along the edge, it actually has RGB lighting all the way down the edge. And because this board doesn't have an LED header like the other boards we've been covering, we can't actually show the lighting at this point. It's a bit more difficult than you would expect to light the whole board up. Okay, let's take the heatsink off with that Torx screwdriver that we mentioned a little bit earlier. It's got 6 screws in total. The chipset is a little bit sticky, I'm going to say. And anyway, let's take a look. It's got 2 M.2 slots on the board. Because it's B550, you are actually sacrificing some features from X570. But this board is mostly the same as the X570 variant, other than the M.2 slots, and also not everything on this board is PCIe Gen 4, but let's take a look at that rear I/O. You've got the antenna connectors for the Wi-Fi 6 or the Wi-Fi AX. You've got a BIOS flashback button and a clear CMOS button. You've got a display port and an HDMI port. If you were to be using an APU, a bunch of USB 3.2 ports, which is really nice. It's got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. Now, I wanted to just address this as well. A lot of people think this is real tech. These boards are all running Intel 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. There's USB Type-C. There's 7.1 digital surround sound with optical and SPDIF and an integrated I/O shield. But it's time to visit our friends over at Peel Corp. So let's peel off the I/O cover plastic. Our friends at Peel Corp know all about this. And yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a closer look at this board with some B-roll. Let's do that. ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed that first look and overview of the B550 Taichi from ASRock. Now, I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about some of the stuff I've been seeing going round and around in the comment section about B550. Now, as far as budget is concerned, I'm not really going to dive into this because people have really twisted and turned on what budget actually means, but this is a budget chipset. Now, chipset, the boards aren't a chipset, guys, okay? Please take that into account. Now, these boards, most of them that we've checked out so far are completely over-engineered. Yes, I agree, but you have to take this into account, and this is what I think is going on here. These boards are supposed to be the entry-level or mid-tier chipset for Ryzen 4000, so that's why I think they delayed it by more than a year after Ryzen 3000, because X570, they had X470, they had B450, they had all of these chipsets that could already support power delivery and all that stuff for those chips. So I think everything's being beefed up actually for a new generation, which I'm on board with. And that's the thing, this is the way the market moves. You always see iterative developments and improvements as time goes on. Prices always increase every single generation on generation, and people are acting like this has never happened before. This literally happens every single year. Look at X470 for instance, and then look at X570. That's 1 year between two platforms and the price jump was exponential. This is exactly what's going on here as well, and there's not a lot we can do about it. And like I've mentioned in previous B550 videos, there is a high end, there's going to be a low end, and then there's a mid tier. This is one of the high end ones, and like I said earlier in the video as well, we don't actually know the pricing for this board, and any pricing that you're seeing going around is a leak or it's fake news, guys. I'm going to be absolutely honest. Unless it's confirmed, I don't know what the pricing is. I've asked for pricing from vendors. Don't you think if I knew the actual pricing, I'd be telling you guys? I'm not hiding it from you guys. They won't tell me. So anything you're seeing is most likely gonna be speculative at best. And that's me being brutally honest with you guys. I don't want you to waste your time like looking at rumors and believing it as gospel, because it's just never the case. A lot of the time there's some truth to it, but a lot of the other times there's just not a lot of truth. But yeah, I'm not going to defend any board vendor for pricing when it actually does come out, but for now we just don't know. And stuff like release date, there's a lot of people talking about release dates or whatever. I know what it is. I'm not allowed to talk about it. It's pretty obvious that I can't talk about any of that stuff. It's part of the job, guys. Anyway, this isn't the last B550 board. We're not even close to being wrapped up with our B550 coverage. We've got the Steel Legend, the MATX version coming soon. It's on its way here from Taiwan at the moment. If we push this out of the way, we actually have this. I think this is going to be the next one. I can't wait to get stuck into this. We've got the Pro Carbon from MSI still coming as well. We've got the B550M Tough from ASUS coming as well. Yes, ASUS has decided to start sending us boards now too. So we've got a lot of stuff that's coming out with B550, and I'm still really excited, and I just can't wait until all the pricing is properly announced and none of this leak and this kind of stuff. I want to know as much as you guys, but I literally do not know. I'm not even lying. I literally don't know. Yeah, cool. Are we done, Claire?
I think so.
Am I done ranting?
Never.
Oh, can you just grab that other motherboard? I want to show them this while I'm here, the white one. I want to show you guys something that we're going to do, and it's completely not related to AMD, but it's something that got really quietly, really quietly announced with 10th gen Intel, and it's the W480 chipset. It's the workstation grade Intel stuff. This is the W480 Vision D. We have a really crazy Corsair Hydro X white build coming with this. So yeah, that's why I wanted to get my hands on it, because it is one of the coolest looking like white-ish motherboards on the market. I'm very keen, and yeah, I think that's enough out of me. I've missed doing motherboard videos this week. The reason why we kind of stopped doing B550 content is we were literally waiting for more boards to arrive, because there's been a lot of shipping delays, as you may know, because of some pandemic that may or may not be going on in the world. You know, is it fake news? Of course it's not fake news, guys. It's all real. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Anyway, guys, if you like the music you heard here, I make it all. You can get it over on our Patreon. If you want to support the channel, you can hit that little join button, hit the subscribe button, turn that little bell on, do all that stuff you want to do if you want to support a channel on YouTube. As well as that, we are on Floatplane. So if you want to get early access to videos just like this one, head on over to our Floatplane and all of that other stuff. And I'm done. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peak, we seek. And just again, with the B550 pricing and all that stuff, I honestly don't know. I've asked, no one's giving me any answers, so I know as much as you guys. And everything that I've read around Reddit and all those other places, it's most likely not going to be too accurate. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even lying. I wish I knew the answers. And this thing, ooh, look at it. Look how cool it is. Very nice. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching.